Well, there have been very few geniuses in the game of chess, and it's not very easy to define what a genius is, because some may have different set of skills. Some are good positionally, some are good tactically, some are good at calculation, and so on. But I believe that the ability to create something out of nothing, when there is nothing in the position and you are able to create certain ideas, that's really genius in chess. And one of the players in the past era was Mikhail Tal, who used to create some wonderful attacks out of nowhere. And that's why people used to love him. In the present day, we have Baadur Jobava. And I just want to give you a glimpse of what he did in the first round of the Aeroflot Open. He was playing against Harshit Raja, who's from India, and Jobava was black. He chose the very solid Karo-Khan, and nothing special happened out of the opening. This two knights system, you kind of fortify your center. It's not like very aggressive like the Najdorf or any Sicilian, but it leads to an interesting game. Black is quite passive, white is very active, has completed his development, and now plays h5. So Jobava says, I must do something or else I'll get checkmated. He cannot even castle long because f7 pawn is hanging. So he plays b5 with the idea of b4. Now Harshit could play it somehow safely in this position, but he thought I should go aggressively. He played hg, rook h8, bishop h8, and now queen to h3. All fine until now bishop f6, and now he took on d5. So white is giving no time to black, and now if you take with the e pawn, then you have bishop g4, and black is in some trouble here. If you take with the c pawn, then also the b5 pawn is hanging, so you had to take with the knight, and now came knight e4. Now here is where Baadur saw things further. He played the move queen into a2, which was quite an amazing move. Harshit took, knight takes, queen h8 check, king e7, and queen into a8. And black was asked, where is your compensation for the rook? If you give me a check, I come up. If you give me another check, I go in, and that's game over. Jobava said, well, I'm going to play knight e4. And now you cut off the king from escaping. Black is an entire rook down, but he has a deadly threat with queen a1 mate. Okay, so only move for white was c3. And here Jobava played ndc3. Now if b takes c3, this is already a draw. Very easy draw. So Harshit tried to complicate the matters a bit, played bishop g5, which was a nice move. And now after bishop g5, black took. You don't really have a choice here, because let's say if you play king to d7 is already bad, because I can just checkmate you. There is no other way to get out, so he had to take. And now bc, knight came back. Now he is again a full rook down. Queen into c6, queen takes e2. And here white had a chance to continue playing for a win with queen to c7 check. In the game he played d5, and after knight f2, d6, king f6, rook d2, knight d3, king c2, knight e1. A draw was agreed because the king cannot leave the protection of the d2 rook. But if we would have given a check first, now there are two moves. If king f6, then I give you a check and play the move d5. This is just better position for white. You can see how the queen defends the c3 pawn and also pins this way. is just winning. And if you go king f8, then there is queen b8 check, and after king g7 I give a check and play d5. And if you play king e7, now comes the very nice move d5, and after knight f2, as happened in the game, you have d6, king f6, and because the queen is not on c6, it is actually on b8, I have this check, king f5 and queen d4, winning the game. So that's how Harshit could have actually given a lot of trouble to Baadur, but he went d5, and then after knight f2 the game was drawn. Now after everything ended in the analysis session, when we reached this position, black went knight e4 c3, Jobava said, I could have given a check instead of taking here on c3. I could give you a check, and after king c2 I can give you another check. Okay, if you go back basically, then already this is a draw, knight d c3 or even queen b3 is possible. But if king d3, when white tries to play for a win, then now black plays f5, and this position is really a sight to behold, because these two knights are monstrous in the center, and black says, okay, but what is your threat? Queen into c6, and Jobava had seen this and he shows it in the analysis session, queen b3 move. Now this move is absolutely very dangerous. Threat is knight b4 mate, and the analysis session goes on, which we have been able to get from Aeroflot Moscow thanks to KV Shantharaman, who is present there, who is one of India's team manager, and sent this to us. The point is that knight b4 is a big threat, and you can play queen b7, king f6, say bishop f3, but then there is check and this is lost, because if king e1 there is knight c2. So the only way to defend here is bishop h6. This was not found in the analysis session, and here black has to agree to a draw. Bishop g5 is also what they saw in the analysis, and after knight g5 check and queen a7, queen a3, this was a good defense, because after knight f4 king d2 is the way to draw. In king e3 they were analyzing, and Harshit did suggest the move queen c2 here, which wins for black, but in the analysis Baadur said there's a check coming and they stopped here, but after knight f7, king f4, queen e2, this is winning for black. F2 is hanging and also the rook, so white is lost. What I would like you to see here is this position where f5 is played, and after queen c6 queen b3 is played, and look at how masterfully black has created problems for white. Of course it's objectively equal, but to just the sheer brilliance of sacrificing a rook and placing your knights in center to sort of surround the white king is really nice by Baadur. And now I would like you to watch the analysis session live from Hotel Cosmos in Moscow and enjoy the analysis of Baadur and Harshit.
Wow. No, my son is like this one. Don't take this is precise.
But okay, one idea.
Yeah.
But
Нет, я подозревал как. А вот я мог шаг, я мог пойти видео, I saw this position and I stopped какой-то after this, but I didn't see better than this move. I before this is what this is bishop. I know, check. Principal knight before check knight should be collapsing. I saw that. I was thinking about this. Because it's only moving this way, right? Because B3 I checked 92, 94. So all repeats of this one move. But which one? Yeah, I mean, if you play this, you can only lose this position. Yeah. So only move in this one you want to play with, but maybe it's also play for lost also at the same time. They're fighting. Crazy. So I should calculate one move this move. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, check this bishop is only free this square. Is it possible or something else? F2 also. Yes, also bishop. So it's only move, yeah, if you want something, but looks terrible. First of all, I have check, then I b4 check. What else I have? Okay, I have draw always, yeah? Check and take care. Draw minimum I have to check and take. Yeah, I have draw if I want. But that before. Короче, я вот перестал считать. In this position I stop calculating. In this position I thought knight g4 take. Yeah, Shah in this position. Shah in this position. Maybe, yeah, but maybe check. Maybe you're not lost music here. Yeah, and 1 second. What is hands?
But everything is black.
Incredible position, huh? Wow. 1 second. Check. This.
D1 queen c.
What can you do?
G2.
What position? D2 also. Wow. Still game. Вот это вариант, да? Yeah, you should find this, otherwise you would find, of course, because only moves, yeah.
Okay, so this check.
I don't know, king d2 or d3 also interesting. Так. Я убил.
But you know, king d2. No. I mean, it's king d2 and 94 and queen into a3 and knight into a2 and king 1
Okay, so he's only going to check here. Yes? Because king d2 I check, take it and pull up.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's maybe lost again. Because we repeat, then I go this check. And then take 94.
No, you can just take, yeah.